Cher, the iconic superstar, has had a romantic life as legendary and boundary-pushing as her career, dating a fascinating array of famous men. From her iconic musical partner to Hollywood's biggest stars, we're taking a look at the relationships that have shaped her over the decades. Cher and Warren Beatty had a brief dating history when Cher was around 15 or 16, and Beatty was 24 or 25. Their relationship began after a near-car accident on Sunset Boulevard, which led to Cher confronting Beatty, then realizing who he was. Beatty invited Cher to his Beverly Hills home, where they shared a kiss and went swimming in the pool. Cher's mother was surprisingly accepting of the relationship once she spoke with Beatty. Cher has described the experience in her memoir and various interviews, reflecting on it as an unforgettable moment in her youth. Cher and Sonny Bono met in 1962 when Cher was 16 and Sonny was 27. Initially, their relationship was platonic, with Cher moving in with Sonny after being kicked out by roommates. Over time, their bond evolved from friendship to romance. They began performing together, achieving fame with hits like I Got You Babe in 1965. They had a ceremonial wedding in 1964 but officially married in 1969. Their relationship included the birth of their child, Chaz Bono, in 1969. Despite their personal relationship breaking down in the early 1970s, they remained married until 1974 and continued professional collaborations such as their variety show, The Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour. Jon Peters, a well-known Hollywood film producer, had a relationship with Cher in the early 1970s. Cher and Peters' relationship was part of a complex network of connections in the entertainment industry, marked by professional collaborations and social encounters. Cher and David Geffen began their romantic relationship in 1973, while Cher was still separated but not yet divorced from Sonny Bono. Their relationship lasted around 18 months, during which Geffen, a successful music industry executive, played a crucial role in helping Cher extricate herself from restrictive and unfavorable business contracts tied to Bono. Geffen was deeply in love with Cher despite later revealing that he was gay, and Cher said she was the first person with whom he shared his life and bed. They attended the 1974 Grammy Awards together and even talked about marriage, but their romance ended before Cher's divorce from Bono was finalized. Cher and Gregg Allman began their relationship in 1974, shortly before Cher's divorce from Sonny Bono was finalized. They married quickly on June 30, 1975, just days after the divorce was official. Their marriage was tumultuous and marked by Gregg Allman's struggles with alcoholism and heroin addiction. Notably, during their honeymoon in Jamaica, an incident involving Allman pulling a knife on Cher occurred, prompting her to file for divorce just 9 days after the wedding. However, Allman promised to get clean, and Cher later dropped the divorce suit. They had a son, Elijah Blue Allman, born in 1976. Despite their efforts, the relationship remained strained due to addiction issues, and they ultimately divorced in 1979. Anthony Kiedis and Cher had an encounter in 1975 when Kiedis was very young. In his autobiography, he alleges that Cher was his first encounter when he was 13 years old, and she was babysitting him. This encounter is a controversial part of Kiedis's early life. Cher and Paul Michael Glaser had an encounter in 1977, but it was not reported as a serious or long-term dating relationship. The interaction is described more as a brief encounter rather than a sustained romance. Cher and Gene Simmons dated from around 1977 to 1979. They met at a reception for President Gerald Ford and quickly formed a deep connection, despite Cher initially mistaking Simmons for British actress Jean Simmons. Their romance was intense and unusual, with Simmons professing his love for Cher after just one date, even before they kissed. Cher described their relationship as the best she ever had with a human being, though it was not entirely monogamous. She embraced a liberated attitude toward dating during this period, and they both saw other people but maintained a serious bond. Simmons viewed Cher as his first love and praised her character. Their relationship ended when Simmons left Cher for Diana Ross, which led to the end of Cher's long friendship with Ross. Despite the breakup, Cher looks back fondly on their time together, which remains a significant chapter in her life. Les Dudek, an American guitarist known for his work with iconic rock and blues artists, had both a personal and professional relationship with Cher between 1979 and 1982. During this time, they collaborated musically, including working on the music for the 1984 movie Mask, which starred Cher. Dudek also appeared in the film and contributed to Cher's musical projects. Additionally, Dudek performed with Cher in a rock/new wave band called Black Rose in the 1980s. Their relationship was significant both personally and professionally, but ended by 1982. Ron Duguay and Cher had a brief romantic encounter in 1982. They met at Studio 54 after a New York Rangers game, where Liza Minnelli introduced Duguay to Cher. The two danced closely, and a famous photo captured Cher resting her head on Duguay's shoulder. Later, Cher invited Duguay to join her, and they went to Gene Simmons' townhouse, where Cher made it clear they weren't doing anything intimate on the first date. Cher and Val Kilmer dated for about 2 years, from 1982 to 1984. They met at a birthday party hosted by Meryl Streep, and their relationship quickly deepened from friendship to romance. Cher described their connection as too intense and hot, saying it was the closest she ever came to a functional partnership. Kilmer called her the funniest person he'd ever met and expressed lasting admiration for her. They lived together at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas during Cher's performances there. Despite their breakup, they remained friends, with Cher later supporting Kilmer during his battle with throat cancer. Cher recalled being madly in love with Kilmer and has spoken fondly of their shared humor, mutual respect, and his sensitivity and artistic nature. Eric Stoltz and Cher had a brief romantic relationship from 1984 to 1985. They met and formed a connection while working together on the 1985 film Mask, in which Stoltz played Cher's teenage son. Despite a 16-year age difference, their relationship blossomed during the filming period but was relatively short-lived. Cher and Joshua Donen, a movie producer and son of director Stanley Donen, dated from approximately 1984 to 1986. Their relationship was described by Cher as her most serious since her marriage, and she expressed that she still loved him and saw him often even after they broke up. Cher and Tom Cruise had a brief but intense romantic relationship in the mid-1980s. They first met at the Malibu wedding of Madonna and Sean Penn in August 1985 and reconnected later that year at a White House event where their strong connection sparked a romance. Cher, who was 38 at the time, and Cruise, then 23, kept their relationship mostly private. Cher disclosed in interviews that she was crazy about him and even lived in Tom Cruise's apartment for a while. She has ranked him among her top 5 lovers and remembered their relationship as pretty hot and heavy for a short time. Their romance ended primarily due to conflicting work schedules. Despite their breakup, they have remained on friendly terms over the years, though their views differ, Cher being Buddhist and Cruise practicing Scientology. Cher values the time they spent together and speaks fondly of him. Cher and Michael Bolton were rumored to have had a brief romantic relationship in 1986. Although the relationship was never publicly confirmed in detail, It was rumored to be a low-key romance during the mid-1980s when they worked together musically. Cher met Rob Camilletti in 1986 when she was 40 and he was 22. They began dating and were together for about 3 years, attending high-profile events such as the 1988 Oscars. Their relationship faced intense media scrutiny, which contributed to their breakup in 1989. Cher has spoken fondly of Camilletti, calling him possibly the one true love of her life and describing him as like a rock. Cher and Jack Nicholson co-starred in the 1987 film The Witches of Eastwick, but their interaction was mostly professional. Cher recalled a painful incident related to this film where both Jack Nicholson and the director George Miller told her she was too old and not sexy enough for the role, which was deeply hurtful for her. Cher and Nicolas Cage had a professional connection rather than a romantic dating history. They co-starred in the 1987 movie Moonstruck, but there is no public record or credible source indicating they dated or had a romantic relationship. Cher and Tommy Lee reportedly had a brief romantic encounter in February 1988. While details about their time together are limited, Cher has been quoted saying, "My rule of thumb is if it feels right. I don't care about the age thing," which fits with her history of dating younger men like Tommy Lee. Cher and Richie Sambora had a brief romantic relationship around 1989 to 1990. They first met when Sambora co-produced Cher's 1987 self-titled album, but their romantic involvement began after Cher ended her 3-year relationship with Rob Camilletti. Sambora was 14 years younger than Cher, fitting her pattern of dating younger men. Their relationship was short-lived, reportedly ending after about 6 months due to Sambora's infidelity involving a groupie. Cher and Bob Hoskins co-starred in the 1990 film Mermaids, where Hoskins played Cher's screen lover. Cher personally invited Hoskins to join the film, and their on-screen chemistry was part of the family comedy drama's storyline. Their relationship was limited to their work and the promotion of the movie. Cher and Eric Clapton had a brief romantic encounter in 1995. Cher herself confirmed they had slept together once, describing the encounter as memorable but not a lasting relationship. Cher and Tim Medvets, a former Hell's Angel member turned philanthropist and adventurer, had an on-and-off relationship from 2008 to 2013. They first connected due to their shared love of Harley-Davidson motorcycles. Their busy lifestyles, especially Cher's demanding touring schedule, caused strains in the relationship, leading to a breakup around 2010. They briefly rekindled their romance in 2012, encouraged by Cher's children, but it eventually fizzled out again by 2013. There were rumors of engagement during their time together, but no wedding took place. Cher has described needing a break from relationships during that period, emphasizing that she prefers not to rush from one relationship to another. Cher and Ron Zimmerman, a television writer, dated from 2010 to 2012. They were introduced by a mutual friend and connected initially through Facebook. Cher described Zimmerman as one of the funniest, most eccentric, and kindest people she has ever met. Their relationship was characterized by deep friendship and humor, but it eventually ended, with Cher and Zimmerman remaining friends. Cher and Andy Garcia do not have a dating history. They co-starred in the 2018 film Mamma Mia! Here We Go Again, where they played love interests on screen, but their relationship has been strictly professional. Cher and Alexander A.E. Edwards began their relationship after meeting at Paris Fashion Week in 2022. Despite a significant age gap of about 40 years, Cher being in her late 70s and Edwards in his late 30s, the couple's romance quickly captured public attention. Cher confirmed their relationship on social media, posting photos and affectionate messages, and embraced the idea that love doesn't know math. A.E. Edwards is a music executive working at Sony Music Publishing and known for his previous role as VP of A&R at Def Jam Records. He also has a son with former partner Amber Rose. Cher and Edwards made their red carpet debut in early 2023, briefly broke off the relationship later that year, but then reunited and remained together. Cher has been vocal in standing by Edwards amid criticism over their age difference, emphasizing their genuine affection. Their relationship is a modern example of enduring love beyond conventional norms, with both deeply supportive of each other's lives and careers. So there you have it, a look at the fascinating men who've been part of Cher's romantic journey. From rock legends to Hollywood stars, her love life, much like her career, has been about breaking the rules and living on her own terms. The relationships she's had, whether they were brief or long-lasting, all seem to reflect her incredible strength and unwavering individuality.